Good morning. My name is John. I will be the trainer today to go over the CRM and Orders training. If you have any questions throughout the whole thing, you can go ahead and ask the questions in the question box. I'll be able to answer them as we go along. Today's class will go over the CRM, Customer Relationship Manager, and the Orders features. I'll show you how to import customers, companies, suppliers, decorators, and prospects into your system. So let's go ahead and get started. So when you log into ESB, it'll take you to ESB Web. To access your CRM, you can go ahead and click on the CRM tab. But the first step I'm going to show you is how to add a supplier to your CRM. So you know how to do a search in ESB. Once you get the information for a search, you'll see the supplier's ASI number. You can go ahead and click on the supplier's ASI number and then take you to the supplier's detail page. In the supplier's detail page, you'll see click Add to CRM, and that's how you add suppliers to your CRM. They will also get added to the CRM through creating an order or a purchase order or anything like that. They'll automatically get added that way also. Right? So to access the CRM, you can go ahead and click on the CRM here. This is where it'll default you to all companies. So you'll be able to sort by customers, suppliers, decorators, and prospects. You also have over here a way to sort each of those different tabs by the name, the date they were added, or the last time they had any activity associated with them. Right? You can also do any searches for phone numbers, contacts, email addresses, anything that you want to search. You can search and try and find one of your customers. You can also filter by the statuses, the letters, the tags, any websites they've created their username or their account with, or they've placed orders with, and the record owner who owns that supplier or that customer. All right. If you go ahead and click on one of the filters and want to get back to the main screen, you go ahead and click Clear Filters. You can do that for each individual tab, or you can go into all companies and still do it that way and still have all the same features. All right. Next over is how to add them. You can add customers. If you have any questions or while you're running through any of the training, adding customers or anything like that, you always have this question mark. You can go ahead and click that, and then it'll take you over to our knowledge base that'll pop up right here explaining that situation in that time, okay? But to go ahead and add a customer, you can add it this way. You type in their customer's information, the name. You can choose if they're a customer, supplier, or a prospect, or a decorator. Enter their phone number, so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and all right. Now we're going to go ahead and choose customer, enter the phone number, email address, and the domain, email domain. The email domain is if you're communicating outside of ESP and want to associate that email to the customer or to the company, you can go ahead and do that just by copying the anything after the @ symbol all the way up into including the .com, the .ca, depending on the domain ending. All right. You can enter their email or their website here, and then you can, if they are requiring a proof on any of their orders, you can go ahead and choose require proof here, just by go ahead and choosing their email address. Enter the proof information. Any tags that you want to put in here, pizza shop, restaurant. You can just choose pizza itself, anything that you want to associate that company to. Right? Any notes that you want to put on that company, and then their address. Next down is their billing information. You can actually enter the terms in. If you have terms set up with them, you can go ahead and do that. Prepaid. They have a credit limit of $10,000. We're going to give them 3% off of every order, and they usually pay with Discover. If you want to make them tax exempt, go ahead and check off the tax exempt here, and then you'll add your certificate, the certificate number or the name, so forth and so on. All right? I don't have one. You can go ahead and control the currency they're using. And if they provided you with a shipping account, you can add this shipping account here. All right. We can go ahead and show you that. And then who the record owner is, you can go ahead and choose a different name. This is where you can control who was able to see that. So if you have a large company and you enter in salespeople in, you can change this to your salesperson and only allow him to be able to see that contact record, okay? Right now we're going to leave it as everyone and then save the information. This is what you'll see after you create the order. Create the customer. Go ahead and check out their address book. Add an additional address if you need to. This is where their notes are on any emails associated with them, orders, presentations, and so forth. All right, we're just going to go ahead and go into the address book and add the address for their second location. All right. If you ever want to change the status, you can go ahead and change them from active to inactive. You can edit the information by clicking the pencil icon. You can also go in the actions and edit the company, delete the company, or create a contact off of this company. All right. That's how you can add a company individually. You can also import a list of companies just by go ahead and click on the import button. It'll bring you over to the import section, and you'll have a CSV, Outlook, Google, vCard, or IIF file that you can import. We're going to do a CSV file today. Go ahead and choose companies. Choose the file that we're importing. And then we're going to import the information. So it's just going by the header, and then what the system is thinking that header is, it gives you some options. Go ahead and skip any information that you want to skip. Just make sure that when you're entering the company in, you're using company state versus contact, right? The first and last name are entered, and that's the contacts that are associated with the company. Now, if you want the emails associated with the contacts versus the company, you can go ahead and choose the company or contact email or company email. We're just going to go ahead and choose contact email and then create. Oh, this is where you can actually select who the record owner is for all those that you're importing. Go ahead and just leave it as me and complete that import. Right? You'll get your little notification here telling you that it is successfully getting imported. Then you'll get a notification depending on your file size, anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes out, telling you that how many are imported and everything like that. So I'll show you that when that happens. Next over is your contacts. You can add a contact the same way. You can filter by the same information. And you can sort by the same information, and you can search. All right. Then you have your users. Users are actually the people that are associated with your ASI number. You'll see them here, and you can edit their information, so forth and so on. So anybody that has a license also with you guys, you'll be able to see that information here. All right. You can add them the same way just by clicking add. slightly different information, and you can also import them in same file types and everything like that. You're just going to choose contacts versus companies here, and that's how you import. Anybody have any questions about adding customers? All right, the next section over is emails. This is where all the emails from your system are going to. You can see your individual emails or anything that was spammed. If you want to email the system outside of ESP, like through Google or Outlook or anything like that, this is the email address that you will CC. This is, every individual has that email address or a different email address here. So I'm sorry, it's specific per user. Another way to say it. So if you want to email the ESP system through your Outlook file, you just have, or your Outlook email, you just have to CC this email address. Once you do that, it'll enter that information in here with the subject line, and then you can go ahead and click on that and see more detail about the email itself. All right. Next over is notes. You can see all notes or any of my notes. Go ahead and sort by the date updated or the date added. You can go ahead and add a note just by clicking the add button here. Enter note information, link it to a customer or a contact, and then who it's visible by. And then you can go ahead and save that information. And then save. And then you'll see it here, call customers. You'll also see it here. Next over is tasks. This is where you can see all tasks, any of my tasks, or any tasks that I've delegated out. Right. You can go ahead and view the open, all, or complete it. You go ahead and search them, and then you can filter by these filters over here. Same thing in here. If you choose a filter and you want to get out of that filter, you can go ahead and click clear filter. Go ahead and add a ticket or add a task by just clicking on add, naming the task, choosing what category is associated to, assigning it to somebody, and the date due. And then you can actually add more information. You can go ahead and link it to a customer. Go ahead and make it public or private here. Any descriptions, information, or if you're running through the task itself after you created it and everything like that, there's additional information. You can put a start date here. You can choose how far in the progress you have this, 15%, so forth and so on. And then you can change the priority to high, to medium, to low, and if it's in progress, not started, complete it, so forth and so on. Right? Go ahead and just look at these tasks here, click on the edit button, and then you should be able to see the additional information that way. All right. And then we can save that, and it'll show you the progress. You can actually go ahead and add your tasks to an outside calendar. To do that, you'll just click on add task to another calendar, grab the URL, and then add the calendar to your Google or Outlook or any calendar that you want to add it to. Right. And then close that information. Next over is your appointments. You'll be able to see all your different appointments, either my tasks or my appointments. You can filter down by the people that are in your company here. And to add an appointment, you can go ahead and click on add here. Your information, your location, the start time, the end time. If you want to make it an all-day event, more details, you can go ahead and add a description. You can add up to 5 different notifications to send to your email, the notification bar up in the top, or you can send it to both. You can do it minutes before, hours before, minutes before, hours before, days before, or weeks before, and you can just choose how many, the information. And like I said, you can choose up to 5 different notifications, and then save that information. All right. Go ahead and see by the day, the week, and the month here. If you just want to go back to previous months, you can go ahead and just sort by that, or click that. Anybody have any questions about the tabs going across the top in the CRM here? All right, thank you. Next, we'll go to the settings for your CRM and orders. So if you go to settings, to access the settings, you'll click on your user icon in the top right corner and then click on settings. If you are the owner or the primary of the account and you don't see all this information, give us a call and we can fix that for you. If you aren't the primary, and you should only see import, notifications, and email. Those are the only 3 things that you should see. So if you have that, if you have more than you know, go ahead and talk to your supervisor and they'll be able to help you out, okay? We already went over the import notifications. This is where you can actually turn on or off your notifications for anything that you're sending out to email. If it's in the app itself, and you can go into the details information. If you don't want somebody to share it with me, go ahead and turn off the whole thing, or you can look at each one and say somebody said a sales order is shared with me, I just don't want an email with that, so forth and so on. All right. Next over is relationships. Whenever you create a contact and associate it with a CRM record or anything like that, this is where it'll create that information. You can also add another relationship here just by clicking on add relationship and then fill out the relationship details. All right, and then save the relationship. Next over is teams. This is where you can actually create teams for each edition, for any information that you want. Go ahead and name the team name, and then you're going to go ahead and start entering in users that are associated with that team. I didn't see that Don Trump before. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that one. Yeah, and then save that information. Go ahead and edit and delete them by just clicking those buttons. Edit the team or delete the information as you saw when I was deleting the other ones, okay? Next over is users. These also where you can control what your users are seeing. If you want to make them the administrator, go ahead and check off administrator. Or you can go ahead and remove additional information so you don't want them to see orders, or you do, you can go ahead and check off that information. Right. Would suggest not clicking on the remove button to remove anybody if they're not a part of your ASI number anymore. Give us a call. We can actually make them inactive, and that will automatically remove them here. All right. Next over is default item visibility. This is where you can actually control who, and when you're creating a contact node or anything like that, who is able to see that information right off the bat there. All right. If you want everybody to see companies, you can go ahead and choose everyone or a record owner and then save that information. If you notice that you created a contact or an email or a company or anything like that, and you try and edit the information and you're are not able to, come in here and make sure that the read and edit is selected off and save that. When your account is created, a company profile will be created for you. I would come in here and double check the information as you're going down. Just make sure that the email address, the phone number, and address are correct. This is where you can actually, when you're creating an order or anything like that, this is where you can actually set your default salesperson. If you don't want anybody to be able to enter payment or request payment information, you can go ahead and check that off. This is where you can actually set a contact, an order contact within your ASI number when an order is created. You can set who is the default contact for that, right? And then save that information. Also, what is created for you is your sales tax address. The sales tax is based off of your zip code and your shipper's zip code. So that's how the tax is automatically calculated. If you go ahead and uncheck that, you won't have it automatically calculating on every order. We're just going to go ahead and leave it as automatically calculating. If you need to add a second location or anything like that, you can go ahead and click Add Address, and then add the address information down here. Right? It'll just give you this information, and then save. Next over is emails. You can control any of the emails that are going out from our system. Over here you can choose what email section you want to choose from. So the acknowledgement, you want to change any information, invoice, packing list, purchase orders, so forth and so on. If you come in here, you can actually edit this information by just clicking delete on there, and then enter the information that you want to put in there. You can add additional fields, so if there's customer information, so forth and so on. So this is a PO, excuse me. So PO number, and then you can go ahead and put your order number there. And then supplier. Just make sure that the spaces are there. All right. And you can have that as a subject line. You can go ahead and change the email message that you want to set it to, or you can go ahead and click restore to default, and it'll restore everything back to default. Right? You can go ahead and choose who you want the emails to respond to, or replies to. So if you want it to your corporate profile or company profile email address, you can go ahead and choose that one. If you want to add it as whoever's sending out the email to respond back to them, you can go ahead and choose that. Or if you have a distribution email address that you want to add, you can go ahead and add that email address here. Okay. If you want to allow your email or users to customize the signature, you can go ahead and check that off. If you don't, go ahead and uncheck it, and you can have or create the email signature for yourself, and then save that information. Next over is document design. So this is the header and the footer of your documents. You can go ahead and choose what document you want to edit. Purchase order, you want the ASI number on all your purchase order numbers, so you can go ahead and add that information here. If you want to add a company logo to all of the documents, go ahead and click upload here, and then choose your logo, and it'll be on every document. This is where you can edit the header and footer information. If you want to show the product image on that document, you can go ahead and choose that. On the sales order acknowledgement, you can go ahead and choose if you want the product number or CPN number showing. Same thing. Right. We do integrate with 3 companies out there: QuickBooks, SmartBooks, and ProfitMaker. If you have QuickBooks and you want to integrate with QuickBooks, you can go ahead and let's go ahead and uninstall this. I can show you how to install it. So QuickBooks is here. You can choose between the online version. Just make sure that you're reading the detailed information or anything like that. Just make sure. If you go ahead and click install, it's going to ask you to log in. It's going to actually ask you twice for dual login. So you'll log in here. Once you have your username or email address associated with it and log in, it's going to ask you to send a text to your phone, to your email address, or a code to your phone, to your email address, or another way. And once you get that code, you'll type that in here, and it'll verify that you are the one that's logging into QuickBooks. Right? If you go ahead and install the desktop version, just make sure that your desktop version is QuickBooks 2002 or later, and you can go ahead and click install. Next, you'll have to download the web connector. Download the web connector. You can go ahead and click download here. I'm going to actually show you what that would look like. Just pulling up our information here, so give me a second. If you have any questions and we're not here at any times, if you click on this question mark within a circle, it'll actually take you to our knowledge base, and our knowledge base is where you can actually search out questions and everything like that. We're just going to go ahead and type in QuickBooks. So you can choose which one you want to install. You sign in, and I'll show you a little video of how to do it. And then you can, the desktop version here, you'll get this information when you go ahead and click download. Download will pull up this QuickBooks web connector. You'll have a password, and you'll just copy that password and paste it in here. And then you'll select off the checkbox and update selected. For your first time, it might take up to anywhere from a half an hour to, I've seen like an hour and a half, because what it's doing, it's communicating with ESB and QuickBooks to make sure that all the companies are added to both systems. It doesn't add any information, and you can go ahead and watch the video here. What this article is called is QuickBooks Integration with ESB, if you have any questions on adding the QuickBooks information in. Okay. You can go ahead and choose individual or teams who can see this, and how the fields are mapping by the product number or the product name. You can choose accounts here. When you go ahead and install the information and everything like that, excuse me. Sorry about that. So when you install the information and QuickBooks is installed, you'll be able to see a drop down here of all of your accounts receivables, your income accounts, your tax accounts payable, and your cost of goods sold. So you'll just go ahead and select that information and save it. And then you can come in here and match up customers to customers. So this is the ESB customer name, and you can come over here and choose the QuickBooks customer name. It'll make it much easier when you're importing the information over, okay, and then save that. That's how you set up the integration. I'll show you how to send it over to QuickBooks when we create an order and everything like that, okay? Next over is document numbers. You can go ahead and add so if you do integrate with QuickBooks and everything like that, just let you know if you're seeing it's not going over to QuickBooks, make sure that you don't have that same document number in the ESB system as you do in QuickBooks, because QuickBooks doesn't allow the same document number to go through multiple times, right? The way that you can avoid that is come in here, enter your last QuickBooks number that you used, and you can enter that information here. So if it's like 2002, you can go ahead and add 2002. If you want to add a prefix to the order number, you can go ahead and do that versus adding a whole new number, or a suffix. If you want your users to be able to edit those information, you go ahead and click edit here and then save. Right. Next over is order statuses. The first two are created for you, open and close. As you can see, the pencil icon, if you scroll down to one that we created, you'll have a delete icon and a pencil icon. You won't be able to delete anything unless it's not associated with any orders. Okay? Only thing that you can do with the open and closed is edit it by clicking edit. You can choose what color you want to choose from. If you want to add a note, you can't change the order status itself. Right. If you want to go ahead and add a different status, you can add the status. If you want to put a note in it, and if you want to lock it by the user or admin. Right. You can choose your color and save that information. Next over is default tasks. You can create any default task when somebody creates an order or an invoice or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and call this task name follow-up. We're going to assign it to myself. Going to choose a phone call and make it public, make it a high priority, and same date the order or invoice is created. The effective date is today. Any description that I want to add, and then you can actually add a sales, which document type that you want that follow-up for. We're going to do it for every single document type that is created. We're going to associate it to the order versus the line or the products themselves. We're going to link it to the customer because we want to give that customer a follow-up phone call, just make sure that their order experience was good. All right, and then save that information. So that's our settings area of ESP. Is there any questions that you need? Or do you have any questions out there about the settings area? It's probably because Margaret's question is, why can't I edit document numbers or users? That's because your permissions aren't there. Give us a call after the meeting so that we can actually set up those permissions for you, okay? All right, so next we're going to go ahead and cover the ESB orders. I'm going to go to web first to show you how that we can place an order multiple different ways for a specific product. So we're going to go ahead and click on search for products and search for a product here. And then search. So a way that you can order a product is you search out the product and you have your order button here. You can also save it to your clipboard. If you go ahead and click save, I already have it in there, so you can go ahead and go to your clipboard, search for that product, check it off, and then you can go ahead and order it here. You can also create a quote from here, or you can go into the product itself and create an order from the create order button here, or go to the price grid and create the order there. All right, we're just going to go ahead and go in the price grid and create the order. Maybe not. Nope, there we go. Enter your quantities in. Continue. The decorator is your supplier, so you can go ahead and leave it there. We're going to go ahead and print it on side 2, and we're going to choose the imprint method that they have selected for us. If you don't want to choose that imprint method, you can go ahead and choose a different imprint method. It's just that supplier has to have that imprint method, right? And you can enter any instructions that you want for the imprint or the decoration itself right here. Your color, and then attach the file, and then continue. This is where we're going to select our customer. And create the order. Once you create the order number is up here. Go ahead and change the order number if you allowed editing there. This is where the default task was created. This is who can see the order. We're going to go ahead and make it visible to everyone. You can add additional or add notes, or any notes that were associated with this order will be right here. And any artwork that you want to upload or add to the order, you can add that here. It's also another place that you can add it. This is where we see the customer's information. You can view the customer's information in the CRM by just clicking the view button. You can change your status here. You'll see the order total and any balance due, if there is one. The description you can go ahead and change around. If you want to make that bigger or smaller, you can go ahead and do that. This is your order contact. You can go ahead and edit the information or choose a different contact by clicking here. Next over is salesperson. And then the PO reference is if the customer created a PO for you or created a PO for the order, you can reference their PO number here. So they gave us a PO of 1234. The order date is obviously today. The enhanced date is when your customer is going to receive that product. And you can choose if you want it a firm, a flexible, or reset the time. You're going to go ahead and choose flexible. So if your customer chose an enhanced date and they are firm on that enhanced date, they can't have it past this specific date, you can go ahead and click firm and then apply that. Go ahead and click yes, so it applies to all products on the order. And if you want to add a ship date, you can add that ship date. Add it to the order, every product on the order. All right, then you have your billing contact, shipping contact, and acknowledge contact. The reason we have 3 different contacts is the example that I give mostly is, say, a school calls in the order. So the acknowledge contact is the person that called in the order. The shipping contact is where that order is going to within the school district. And the main school district is the billing contact. All right? If you want them all the same, if you edit any information or anything like that, you can go ahead and click same as billing. And then if you edit any of the information, it'll update. So we're going to go ahead and choose address 2, suite 222, and then save. Then we're going to go ahead and change it to all shipping and products. And you see the suite is added automatically. All right, if you want to edit that information, remove the suite, save, it'll update to the shipping and acknowledge contacts. All right. Next down is your terms, what we set in the customer settings area. They paid with, their discount, their shipping account, and then this tag is now for the order itself versus the customer. So we can go ahead and, I'm looking at the product, you can go ahead and choose 32 ounce, the name of the product itself. Once you start typing in the information, it'll add it. ABRAMIO. If you have anything, water bottle, logo mark, because that's who the supplier is, so forth and so on. You can add any amount of tags that you want to the order. It's just for an easier way for you to sort or find that order, okay? You'll have your pricing, your decoration, your shipping information, and then your purchase order information. You'll be able to see the net cost, your quantity amount under the purchase order tab. Under the shipping tab, you can see where the product is shipping to. The decoration, this is where you can choose the decoration. And then the pricing, you'll be able to see your quantity, your cost, your price, your total cost, price, your margin, and if you want to apply taxes to those products. You can go ahead and check off or uncheck this information here. And then you'll have your subtotal, the discounted amount that we created when we created the customer, your margin, your sales tax, If you want to use the current rate, if you didn't have automatically checked off when we had the settings set up, this is where you can actually update it that way. You have your amount, enter payment. This is for if the customer has paid you, you can enter their payment information here. We do not collect credit card information, or we do not provide our suppliers with any credit card information through the ESP system at all. All right, this is where you can document that you've taken payment for that order. If they paid in full, you can go ahead and check off paid in full. If they didn't, you can uncheck it, enter a payment amount, if it's US dollars, Canadian dollars, and then how they paid with, the transaction number, when they paid the information, and then notes associated with that, and then you can save it. All right. We'll go over all these other buttons down here later on. I'm just going to go ahead and go into the product itself to show you those different tabs now inside the order. The product itself. As you can see, the pricing tab now converted over to the configuration tab. This is actually where you can configure your information. If you want to enter anything in the description, you can go ahead and click on the cog here. If it works, it did. So you can go ahead and change any of the information, the material, so forth and so on. Okay. You can enter your quantity. If they gave you a different cost, you can enter that quantity in here, or cost in there. If you want to change your margin, you can change your margin, and you can change your price. If you do change the price, just to let you know, it will affect the margin automatically. All right, and then save that information. Next over is the decoration. Excuse me. Next over is the decoration. This is where you can choose see what you chose when you configured the product. All right, let me just go ahead and close that tab. Sorry, I don't like having tabs open. Any notes for the vendor themselves, you can get ahead and enter that information here versus the decoration information. As you can see, the proof required did come over. You got your logo size, your logo color, and your vendor code. This code is brought over from the supplier itself. Or if your decorator provided you with a specific code, you can enter that information in here. This is where you can also attach files to the product itself. And then if you want to add your run charges and your setup charge, if you have to charge the customer that, or if you're getting charged that, you can edit that information or add that information here. If it's a run charge and you want to associate it with each product, go ahead and check off run here, and it'll change your quantity. You won't be able to change the quantity, but if you go onto the configuration tab and say we add 200 versus 100, come over to the decoration, and it'll automatically update here, so you don't have to update the information twice. You get your setup charge for the product itself. You don't want to do the run for that because that's going to be way too much money for your setup charge. All right. Go ahead and edit the margin for yourself, or the price. All right. And then save that information. The reason I'm not clicking save is because I'm going through the tabs themselves. All right. Next over is you can add special instructions to the customer's all documents or individual documents of the acknowledgement or the invoice. If you want to add one for the supplier, you can go ahead and add one for a supplier here for the purchase order. This supplier product special is more along the lines if you go to ESP Web and click on specials, and you see a special out there for like EQP with a special code. That special code will end up coming into here, and you'll see that special code, like if it's use discount to get an additional 15% discount off the order or something like that. You'll have that information here, and you'll see your special icon come up here. Right? If you want to add additional ones, you can go ahead and add additional ones by just clicking add additional instructions here. If you want to remove one that you've created by accident, you can go ahead and do that also. Next over is the shipping tab. This is where you can actually see who the product is shipping from and where it's going to. The enhanced date, the ship date, and the ship via all came through. If you want to add additional locations, you can go ahead and add additional location here. Or if you want to split the shipment, you can go ahead and split the shipment. So the way to split the shipment is by clicking on the button here. Yes, I want to split the shipment. They ask for half the order to go to their second location. So we're going to go ahead and choose their second location here. Or you can go ahead and choose a different customer's information in here. All right. Choose their second location, and next. They said half the order. All right. As you can see, it's subtracted automatically from the original shipment amount, and then save. As you can see, it's now shipment 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. And you'll now, from this point forward, you'll have to edit that information individually. All right. If you want to add any services to the order, you can go ahead and add services. Just by clicking the button here and choosing your service title. Or if you want to add any shipment, freight, or service charges, you can go ahead and choose the drop down here. All right. If you want to add a title, titles are more along the lines of you're placing an order for 5 or 6 different customers. For one supplier, you can add a title in between each product, and that information will only stick with you. It won't go to the supplier or the customer at all. All right. If you want to add additional products, you can go ahead and click on the button Add Products, or if you have a product that's not in ESB, you can go ahead and click on the drop down next to it and add the new product that way. Go ahead and click on Add Products. You can go ahead and pull the product in from a clipboard, your shopping cart, a project folder, or even a product search. We're going to go ahead and do a product search. Go ahead and choose Sanmar and then search the product. Select the product and add the product. All right, I'm done. Nope, I'm not done because I don't have any quotes or, any prices associated with this. So as you can see, we have to configure this product now. Just go ahead and click on Configure. And then you'll see your sizes and everything like that here. Go ahead and choose our amount. All right, and then continue. As you know, that decorator or that supplier, it does not decorate any of their products, so we're going to go ahead and choose our decorator here. The location, the imprint method, any instructions that I want to add, the color itself, and then you can attach the file that's already associated with the order or upload a new logo for that product. We're going to go ahead and choose that logo and then save that information. All right, now it's all configured. I just want to show you one slight difference here. This is actually new. If you have preferred suppliers, it'll show you what your preferred supplier choice is here, okay? Next thing I want to show you is you can go ahead and go into the shipping tab, and you can see the difference. So the ship to is from Sanmar to your embroiderer, and then from your decorator, and then from your decorator to your customer. All right, and then you can see that the enhanced data are associated with your customer's information now, and then save. Oh, I forgot to go over the tax here. This is where if you want to remove taxes for this whole entire product, you can go ahead and choose to remove them here. So now that product will none of those products will have any taxes associated with them. Or if you needed to add additional taxes, you can choose that. Your tax rate, 6%. If you have additional taxes that you need to add, you can go ahead and choose state, county, country, so forth and so on. All right. I know with some of our states, you can't tax apparel, so you can go ahead and remove it all and then save. As you can see, those checkboxes now are not able to remove, so forth and so on. All right. Now we want to go ahead and preview each of our documents. You can go ahead and preview them by just clicking preview here, and you can go ahead and preview your sales order. Sales orders information is going to have your costs that are associated with it. So it's more along the lines of information for you, or you can share it with people within your company so that they can see the costs and everything like that. You can go ahead and send in your information, print it, or download it, and then you can save it to your computer. All right. Next over is the acknowledgement. This is what you can actually share with your customer. It won't have any costs associated with it. And then you'll have your salesperson, their address here, where the product's shipping to for each individual product, so that they can sign off and say, oh, yep, go ahead and place this order, right? When everything's ready to go and you want to place the order, you can go ahead and click on the send button here and send those products or send those orders over. So I'm going to go ahead and choose logo mark for our first one and then continue. As you can see, it'll create the email address associated with logo mark already. It'll CC your personal email, and then it'll CC the email, the ESP system itself. You can add additional ones by just go ahead and clicking onto here and adding additional CC people, or you can go ahead and add any BCCs that you want to assign to the email. This reply to is what is selected in the settings area when we created it, and the purchase order information is here. Subject line. The only thing that was added to the subject line is this reply all. The body of the message is this reply to all. That will stay there. If you want to remove it per document, you can go ahead and do that per document. And then you'll have your little preview of what the supplier is going to get, and then attach it as a PDF and then send it. I'm not going to send it because I don't want to place this order. All right. Next over, we're going to go ahead and send our Sanmar product over to Sanmar. I'm going to continue here. This one's slightly different because it actually, you can actually link directly with Sanmar's account. If you don't have an account or you're trying to link the account and it's not working, you want to actually both. If you don't have an account or it's not working, you can go ahead and click here and email this specific email address. If you try and contact Sanmar and for the linking of the account and telling them that it's not working, they're going to tell you to call us, and we're actually going to tell you to call this specific, or email this specific email address. Right? They have to turn on something in their back end to make the accounts linked. Once the accounts are linked, though, you will never have to do it again. So you just enter your username, your account information, and your password, and then link the account. If you don't want to create an account or don't want to link the account and you have to do it right now, you can go ahead and choose email, and you can email it the same way as your other emails. Last but not least, you can go ahead and send your embroidery decoration information to your embroiderer. Choose their email address. And, sorry. Enter to enter the information and then send. All right, this order is all set, ready to go. We can go ahead and create an invoice off of this order so we can go ahead and bill our customer. So you scroll up here and you can go ahead and click on the Create Invoice button. If you want to send the artwork to your supplier or any special instructions, you can go ahead and choose, I'm not your supplier, your customer. You can go ahead and choose that information here and continue. As you can see, the information is there. You can see that there's now a linked transaction. You can go ahead and send this off to your customer by clicking send. It'll create the email for you and then send it off. All right. I'm not going to do that. Now you're ready to import this information over to QuickBooks. You can go ahead and click send to QuickBooks. You choose your customer's information, or you can create a new customer within QuickBooks itself. If you don't have the information in there, you can send it over as a text as an item or a QuickBooks default, and then you're going to link your accounts to accounts, income account to income account, accounts receivable to accounts receivable. All right, and then go ahead and send that information over. Just to let you know that when you do send an invoice over, the order or invoice over to QuickBooks, it'll go over as an invoice. And if you're sending your supplier information over, just make sure that you know it's going over as a bill, not as a purchase order. We are working on that. I say within the next quarter, we should have that information ready to go for you so that you can go ahead and send it over to purchase orders versus sending it over to your billing or bills. Okay, and then send. All right. Get ahead. Got a couple minutes left here, sorry. So now you're in the orders section. You can go ahead and create an order by clicking the buttons over here and creating a new order. You can filter by the statuses, your dates, order date, or in-hands date. You can filter by your customer's information, any product categories, the vendors, any website the order came from, the sales reps associated with the order, and your tags that you created. Go ahead and search any contacts, product numbers, suppliers, etc. for the order. See them. You can go ahead and change the status or send it here, send it, preview, or download the information here. Go into the order. I just want to show you one little step in the order itself before I show you the dashboard. So you can actually go into the More button. This is actually where you can create a quote off of the order that's already out there. You can reorder the product. You can delete the order, or you can manage your currencies. If you want to delete the order, you'll actually have to delete the invoice first, and then you'll be able to delete the order. Okay? I wanted to show you the dashboard before we end today. The dashboard is actually where you can see all your information in one shot. You can choose between your U.S. currency or Canadian currency. You can choose when you want to see how far you want to go back, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, so forth and so on, or last year, or if you want to choose custom range. Right? You can just sort it by a salesperson. You can see your order summary here, the date summary, and then recent activity. Your in progress, your order statuses, You can filter by sample requests, quotes, or orders or invoices. You can see your customers' activity. We have 32 customers with orders, 912 customers without orders. So you can say, okay, how can I get more orders out of my customers without orders? You can go in here, see sample requests, quotes, and invoices, your last tasks by the date due or enhanced date, your top 5 customers, suppliers, or salespeople, your top selling products, your top categories by either total or the number of items, and then you can see your website performers. All right, so that's the order CRM and orders training today. If you do have any questions and we're not here, I showed you one way to get to our knowledge base. Another way is just go ahead and click on the help and support here, and you can search information. Or you can contact us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 800-546-1350, and it's option 2. Or you can email us at support@asicentral.com, and we can update any information or respond back to you. I want to thank everybody for joining today, and you all have a great thank you.